In today's video, we're breaking down a £4 million tug-of-war is erupting over Motherwell's goal machine Tawanda Maswanhise, with Celtic circling like vultures. But could his arrival mean the end of £6 million flop Danilo? Then Barcelona wonderkid linked with a shock Ibrox move as Danilo looks to sprinkle some Masia magic on the wings. Barry Ferguson shuts down a cheeky Celtic suggestion as he pushes for nephew Lewis Ferguson to make a blockbuster return to Ibrox. And finally, Rangers leap ahead of Sheffield United in the Danilo transfer race, with the Sunderland skipper dropped from the squad and primed for a move. Roll wants him, and the deal's heating up fast. Stay with me, because what's happening at Ibrox right now could change everything. Things are heating up in Scottish football, and at the centre of it all is a name that's becoming harder and harder to ignore: Tawanda Maswanhise. Now listen to this. Rangers have been told they'll need to cough up more than £4 million to land the in-form Motherwell winger this January. That's not just money, it's a statement. And with the way this lad's been playing, it might be one Rangers simply have to make. Maswanhise has hit 10 goals in 19 Premiership appearances this season, already joint second top scorer in the league. Only Lawrence Shankland has more with 11, and he's playing through the middle every week. Maswanhise, he's doing that damage from the wing. He's also outscoring the likes of Benjamin Nygren, Claudio Braga, and Jamie McGrath, names that have been hyped for months. But here's the issue, and you won't like this. James Tavernier is still our top scorer in the league with 5 goals. 5, that's not a knock on Tav. The man's a warrior. But if your right back is outscoring your strikers, something's gone badly wrong. Let's be honest, Miovski and Chermity have had their moments, but between them, they've got 7 league goals. Maswanhise has 10 on his own. It's not even a fair fight, and while Motherwell might act like they're holding firm, saying there's no pressure to sell, you and I both know what that means. They want a bidding war, and they'll get one, because Celtic are snooping too. But here's where it gets juicy. Signing Maswanhise might not just be about boosting Rangers' firepower. It could spell the end for Danilo. Remember him? Signed for £6 million, started well under roll, a couple of early goals, then nothing. Ghosted, not even used in big games. Couldn't score against Annan Athletic in the Cup. And let's be real, if you can't put one past a 4th-tier side, what are you doing at Ibrox? He started just 2 of the last 10 matches, no goals, 1 assist. And that was in a match where Rangers were already expected to steamroll. The energy, the movement, it's just not there. You can see it in role selections. Danilo's been shoved further and further down the pecking order. Now imagine Maswanhise at Ibrox with his speed, his directness, and most importantly, his finishing. A winger who could easily play through the middle and actually score. Suddenly, you've got a real weapon, not just depth, a genuine starter. And here's what might hurt a bit. Danilo's exit, whether on loan or permanent, is already being discussed behind the scenes. If Maswanhise arrives, it might not just push Danilo to the bench, it might push him out the door completely. So here's the question you need to ask yourself, and be honest. If Rangers have to spend over £4 million to bring in Maswanhise, a proven Premiership scorer, and it means Danilo never pulls on the shirt again, is that the ruthless call you're willing to back? Or are we giving up on the Brazilian too early? Rangers are being linked with a move for Barcelona. Not the whole squad, mind you, just one of their brightest young things, Dani Rodriguez. Ring a bell? Probably not, but give it time. The 20-year-old winger has been tearing it up for Barca Athletic, Barcelona's B team, and now, according to reports from Spain, he's being eyed up for a surprise loan switch to Ibrox before the window shuts. Now you might be thinking, why would a Barcelona player end up in the Scottish Premiership? But this isn't just any club. This is Rangers, and if you're looking for intensity, pressure, and a crowd that won't accept second best, there's no better place to grow up fast. Rodriguez has had clubs sniffing around him already this window. Dynamo Zagreb made their interest known, but now Rangers have stepped into the conversation, and the timing couldn't be better. Danny Roll's got his eyes on wingers. He wants pace, flair, unpredictability, and Rodriguez, well, he ticks every box. Here's where it gets interesting. Roll's got a bit of inside leverage. He's worked with Hansi Flick at Bayern Munich and the German national team, and those ties to the top of European football might just help swing the deal. Barcelona don't want to lose the lad permanently, but they do want him tested, and tested he would be try a cold Wednesday night at Fir Park instead of a sunny stroll against Valencia B. For Rodriguez, the move makes sense. He's blocked from the first team at the Camp Nou. There's a queue of players ahead of him, and while Xavi might see his potential, he can't offer him minutes. At Ibrox, it'd be a different story. High-intensity matches, battles for trophies, the madness of an old firm derby, and a fan base that demands 100% every week. You don't get that playing in front of 200 folk in Spanish third-tier grounds. But here's where you come in. Are you really convinced by another Flair signing with no experience in this league? Or are we falling for the shiny Barcelona badge without asking the real question? Can he handle the fight? Should Rangers be bringing in a Barcelona academy star on loan? Or should we be investing in proven talent that knows exactly what it takes to thrive in Scottish football? Now, here's a transfer rumor that hits a bit closer to home. Literally, Barry Ferguson, Rangers legend, warrior, and not so subtle voice of reason has made it clear his nephew Lewis Ferguson should be wearing royal blue if he returns to Scotland, not green, not white. Rangers, full stop. Lewis has been doing his graft in Italy since 2022, playing for Bologna and turning plenty of heads in the Serie A before injuries slowed him down. ACL, hamstring, proper setbacks, but now with the 2026 World Cup on the horizon, the boy needs minutes. And if Bologna aren't giving them, then why not Ibrox? And let's not forget, Rangers let him go in his youth. It's one of those what-ifs that's haunted the club for years. Since then, he's turned into one of the most important Scottish midfielders of his generation. Dominated at Aberdeen, took a risk going abroad, succeeded, and now, well, this is where things get tasty because some cheeky wee Celtic supporter had the gall to ask Barry if Lewis might pop over to the green side on loan. Barry's response, classic, dry, dismissive. A wee cheeky loan move to Rangers would be nice. Not even a second's pause. No chance of wearing that Lot's shirt. That's the Ferguson bloodline we love. With Connor Barron injured and the engine room stretched, a move like this makes real footballing sense. And let's be honest, you wouldn't just be bringing in a solid player, you'd be bringing in a leader, a fighter, a lad who knows what Ibrox demands, someone who'd run through walls for the badge. Danny Roll has already worked magic in this window. Tochi Chukwani, Tua Romans, Andreas Skov Olsen, clever business. The squad's starting to look balanced. But just imagine what it would mean heading into the title run-in to bring in a proper Scottish midfield general, someone who could dominate Hearts, silence Celtic, and drive this team to the top. It's still a long shot, but don't rule it out just yet. Lewis knows what Ibrox means. The door's there. The question is, will he walk through it? And here's the needle for you. If Lewis Ferguson does return to Scotland, would it be unforgivable if he went to Celtic instead of coming home to Rangers? And just when you thought the transfer window couldn't get any tastier, Rangers may have pulled off a proper bit of business, stealing a march on Sheffield United in the race for Sunderland midfielder Dan Neil. Now, this isn't just any midfield target. Dan Neil is a product of the Black Cats Academy, a lad who's made over 200 appearances for his boyhood club, helped them up from League One to the Premier League, and captained them through it all. Leadership, tick. Big game experience, tick. Available in January, you bet. Word is, he didn't even travel with Sunderland for their FA Cup clash against West Ham. And when a player gets pulled from the squad mid-window, that's not nothing. That's a signal Rangers are circling. And from what's being said, they're ahead of the pack, including Danny Roll's old enemies from across the Steel City, Sheffield United. You just know he'd enjoy getting one over on them again. Let's talk about what Neil actually brings. At 24, he's right in that sweet spot, old enough to handle the fight, young enough to still grow. His passing range is crisp, he's got an engine that doesn't quit, and he's not afraid to put a foot in when needed. A proper box-to-box player with leadership qualities that could drive this Rangers team through the business end of the season. And with Connor Barron out injured, Rangers need bodies in the middle of the park. Not just warm bodies, but players with presence. Players who can grab a match by the scruff of the neck. Players like Neil. Roll said it himself, it's not about the name, it's about the fit. And from the outside looking in, Neil fits like a glove. He'd add depth, energy, and that wee bit of edge we'll need to go the distance in the title race. But here's the twist. It's not a done deal. Sheffield United are still sniffing around, FC Köln too, and this could go right to the wire before the window slams shut on the 2nd of February. So let's ask the big one now, and don't hold back. Dan Neil's a leader, a proven performer, and Rangers are reportedly in pole position. But if he ends up at Sheffield United or anywhere else instead of Ibrox, has the club dropped the ball again in the market? Or would he be nothing more than a squad filler in the title race? Like the video, drop a comment, and subscribe for daily Rangers news. Don't miss a thing.